All right. I suppose that means that it's time to start the show. But we only got the one. We don't have a two tonight, folks, because unfortunately I had Dan in the thumbnail there. But Mr. Dan ended up having some car trouble and couldn't make it again. So that's 3 weeks in a row we've got to friendlyly chastise this poor guy. We got to get him back in the studio, folks, because I miss my in real life co-host, Mr. Dinosaur himself. So, hopefully we'll see him hanging out in the live chat down below with us throughout the show. But it's just me tonight because Mr. Trump was busy. You heard, I don't know if you heard, but the first deal appears to not really have gone through. So now there's talks of a second one. I got the post to pull up here shortly. It says something about a new deal with a new regime. So, everybody was afraid of regime change, or, the one side was afraid of regime change. But then, some other people argue, regime change might be the only way that you actually fix it. But we don't know what that means yet. It is the start of that news topic. All they said was new deal, new regime. But yeah, Wilkins Sane in the live chat. What up? How you be doing tonight, ma'am? I agree. We miss Dan. We miss the Dan. Where's the ranter in chief? You make me got to be the hopium giver and the ranter all in one. It is a heavy load to bear. But if you're not familiar with the show, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on in here tonight. I'm trying to not be just another bloke on the old internet bitching and moaning and blackpilling you and, splitting the MAGA group apart. I have spent a little bit too much time maybe this last week politely debating with people in my, kind of little Facebook groups of, pro-Trump conservative nature, some Christianity natures. And, they're all kind of losing faith and bitching and moaning. But what's really annoying is they're basically doing what the the headline reading left does, and now they're just reading like angry at Trump, he flip-flopped headlines to me. So then I have to spend my time and go through each topic and kind of explain how I believe that's total bullshit. It's almost a waste of time, but for some reason I give a shit, and that's why I'm here doing the show. All right, so if you're not familiar, hang on in. We're going to be going through the locals community, my mass stash of insights where, I post throughout the week and I cover, the independent journalists, that the mainstream media is not really talking about, or maybe they're completely lying about. And now I'm gonna, I'm gonna have to add in like the mainstream, and psyop conservative media or some shit because god dang, bro, like miss me with this like Trump's the Zionist and oh boy, he's turning out all of his rally promises. Like what, dude? Like, man. So the word Zionist means like you support Israel and you believe they should have a country. So like, how are we turning that into like the word of racist? Like, how are we turning that into some like horribly negative word? Like, sure, maybe you're one of the few people that are like, screw the people of Jewish descent, and I don't think they need a country. That's kind of shady in my humble opinion. But I could see you could say, oh well, they took the part of the Palestine, and they whatever, dude. They got the country thingy from like putting in their dues, getting, schmish murdered, like in that whole big event. Whatever, dude. Let's just move effing forward. Trump working with the dude and then, bombing terrorists over in the Middle East. Like, well, how does that make him like turned around on like, promises? Oh, the no new wars. Well, honestly, you can call me, a semantic, but what war, bro? It's like literally a one-sided war, and it's a conflict at most. They've barely attacked us. They've barely attacked the other people. Like, sure, they've attacked other people. Yeah, but it's not like some Ukraine and Russia thing. That's definitely more like full war. They're going at it back and forth, and like continually thousands of people are dying. Okay, well, the Islamic regime has killed thousands of people a year, but we're calling like Trump and Israel going in there to take out the Terrys the war. I don't know, bro. Miss me with that one. But if you are a frequent flyer of the show, thank you so much for coming on back to the show. I do appreciate you. Make sure to share this out to somebody that needs to watch the show. Do it right now. We're getting the show loaded up. We're trying to get some more followers. We're at the odd number of 119 followers. So if we can get one more today, that'd be dope. We get it to that round 120. Somebody is into this shit. They're a Christian conservative, pro-Trump. Maybe they're a recently, converted or leaning away from pro-Trump, and they need to hear this. So make sure to please share this out to somebody, a friend, a family member, or maybe a foe, somebody that, that needs to know it. In that way, you can make sure to not be a hoe. Because last week, with Mr. Cardboard Trump showing up, it kind of threw me off, right? I didn't do the whole shtick, right? Because Dan usually does it. But, we like to take a page from the good book of Mr. Andy Frisella, and you got to make sure to not be a hoe, folks, and share the show, man. So just share it out to somebody would you? Let's get the one more follower today. If we got one follower a show, we would gain only 50 a year. So we got to get like one per person, okay? So there's like 10 of you right now. Share it out to somebody that hasn't followed yet. Get them on over here. And if they refuse to join Rumble for some silly-ass reason, share the YouTube. Like website, YouTube link, I don't know. Let me know. Tag me on the person on Facebook and I'll get them. I share it to some people in text, though, that don't do Facebook Messenger even. So, I'm putting in the work over there. I'm putting in the work, right? But other than that, you can help keep the lights on. You can join the locals community. I'll show you what the locals is about in just a moment. But you can hit that join button right there. It's that red join button. You can join it up for free. The smells are free like the old Jim Johns used to be. And then if you would like to support, you can sign up for a very low cost. It's like quarterly or some shit. And if that is too much money for you still, but you really want to help out, you can use the better newsfeed code. So code better newsfeed, promo code, save a few bucks. That'll do it, man. So join the locals community. And then let's go ahead and get into it, folks. It's more funny when it's broken and it's easy to fix. Yes, all right, cool. Easy to fix tonight. Last show I did fiddle around for a second. Yeah, I said, well, let's be honest. Those peace talks from last week, the anchor topic last week appeared to have not worked, right? I heard I heard that the like current speaker of the Hezbollah, the Islamic regime came out and was like, nah, dude, we ain't having no peace talks. So I was like, oh, that's a bummer. So were we having peace talks? And then he got cold feet and then came out to make Trump look bad, like a rope a dope. So he lured Trump in to publish it and then just said, nah, I was playing him just to try and make Trump look stupid. Or, was the Trump admin thinking, let's run this one and maybe we could, publicly shame him into doing it? I don't know, folks. But now we have word that the United States of America is in serious discussions with a new and more reasonable regime to end our military operations in Iran. Great progress has been made, but if for any reason a deal is not shortly reached, which it probably will be, and if the Hormuz Strait is not immediately open for business, we will conclude our lovely stay in Iran by blowing up and completely obliterating all of the electrical generating plants, oil wells, Karg Island, and possibly all desalination plants, which we purposely have not touched yet. This will be in retribution for our many soldiers and others that Iran has butchered and killed over the old regime's 47-year reign of terror. Thank you for paying attention to this matter, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Yeah, dude, this is starting to be like, bad mom that says, hey, dude, if you don't do that, I'm going to whoop you, and then never whoops you. So you kind of just keep doing stuff, whether you're doing that on purpose or not. I mean, so, we probably need to start obliterating shit if, we don't sign a deal here pretty soon, because then we're just going to look silly, right? But, hey, man, I'm timid to say, yeah, cool, let's just start blowing everything up willy-nilly, right? I like the tactical, targeted approach. That was good, like a Maduro thingy was, the cream of the crop there. That was a real in and out scenario. And then, this one seems to be going on a little bit longer, man, where the warmongers are, all into it, but we're supposed to believe Donald Trump ain't. So, this is what makes those people I was debating through the week, be like, oh, Trump's turning on his forever war promise. You're like, well, it hasn't been forever yet. So you're kind of like, pre-spilled milk in that shit, bro. So I don't know, man, but, or you could keep your promise of no forever wars and just bomb the effing generating plants, the oil wells, Karg Island, and desalination plants. And then maybe just send ICE in to help everybody get on an airplane out of there, because ICE is still over taking TSA's job and keeping the lines real short at the airport. So maybe we just bring some ICE agents over with the military, the Marines, and maybe we just try to get everybody out of Iran. Screw it. If we just gonna blow it all up, dude, how the regular the citizens gonna live there? So where do we put them? So then, that's tricky, right? Because now we're going to have to bring a bunch of refugees back home with us, or maybe to a neighboring country, and who the hell wants them? Who knows? Maybe they can figure that one out. But we should probably blow up the rest of the Terrys and, get moving the F on with it, especially if, we just want to get moving on with business. Because if you just get rid of the Terrys, then, the Strait of Hormuz would probably be a lot safer for conducting business. And, maybe Donald Trump wouldn't be getting poo-pooed on and losing support in the MAGA community and the headlines. And, but we got some time, folks. We got some time. People got the memory of an effing goldfish. So, Donald Trump can basically do almost whatever the hell he wants up until about 12 months to 6 months before the election. It will be fine. We'll spin it all around. People are, silly and have that goldfish memory. Sorry if you are a regular person with a goldfish memory, but it's true. What up, Danosaur? Miss you, brother. Glad you showed up in the live chat down below. Yeah, live chat, man. What's going on with y'all, man? What is new with you this week? Like, is life good, okay, not so good? Is the financial stress crushing down upon all of us, I would imagine. Well, hopefully the TrutherCast can be at least a couple hours of reprieve and something to do on a Monday night, because I don't know if you're like me, but I really don't get out too much. So this is a nice little break from shit. We'll go through, all these news topics. And in my hopium pushing opinion, they're all damn pretty good, man. They're all positive, and it's a lot of winning still. So I am extremely biased, and I like to get the alternate news of positive nature and paint you a good, picture of the wins of things that are happening that you're not hearing about. Maybe you were too busy. Maybe you were trying the new thing where you don't scroll on TikTok or Instagram. Maybe you were trying to scroll on Instagram and you just got stuck on junk food bullshit. So tonight, I will paint you a picture of the alternate news that is positive. What's that dude's name? I can't remember his name. Wilkinson coming in for someone to win a Nobel Peace Prize for peace in the Middle East. I am having faith in him making the best deal for everybody. Yeah, amen, man. We want to bring that Nobel Peace Prize home, I'm going to bring that Peace Prize home. I'm going to bring it back to Mar-a-Lago, and I'm going to probably put it on top of a mantle. I might put it out in the public mantle. But first, I think I might put it inside my room. I'd like to look at it for a while. And then later, I'll put it out on display, probably because people will tell me to put it on display. Next up, man, I thought this was some pretty banger good news, man. We got a lot of looking into fraud here, so we're all hoping that, the fraud leads to the old justice and whatnot. Man, I feel like my mic is like kind of hot. What do y'all think? If I bring this down, does it make it better? Does it make it better? I was listening back to the show for seeing if it sounds okay. And I felt like it was like a little, doesn't sound like my real voice. And maybe like muffled? I don't know if muffled is the right word. Sounds like I might have tweaked the EQ a little bit. So let me know if that sounds different right there. I pulled back a little bit on the EQs. Okay, so we got start of a developing story, but worth a mention if you haven't heard this one yet. DNI Tulsi Gabbard is actively investigating intercepted communications where Ukraine officials plotted with USAID to funnel $200 million for Biden's 2024 re-election campaign in the DNC. So, yeah, like, hey, it's just getting started. We don't have anything like too hot and damning here, or like, like full justice has been brought. But what? Hey, we got something moving and shaking here, right? So, the most corrupt country in the entire world, Ukraine, known by pretty much every other country to be the most corrupt country in the world, was not only taking our straight up money and weapons, just like, the ones that were just like totally like, given to them above the board. Not only were they taking them and half of it was, quote, lost, AKA, stolen, not only that, but now we actually have straight up communications of our effing GMOs, or what is it? Not NGOs, the NGOs, the non-governmental organizations that literally are a bottom feeder of the government. They sit and take government money so they can go and do shit with it that the government is not supposed to do. So they're like literally a designed workaround bullshit Ponzi scheme ass mother brr. It's like total bullshit, right? And so USAID, if you don't recall, was the thing that was shut down when the Doge trials were going down, right? Like the Doge, the original Doge team was, really chopping heads off the old snake, right? And then, that had a natural end time, so it didn't become another forever, government organization that required more and more funding and shit. So now it got folded into the Treasury. It's still a thing. They're still finding fraud to this day. But they shut that USAID down because they found so much fraud coming out. So now they are back in the flipping news cycle here because we got $200 million of our tax money that the NGO is taken from our government and then was funneling over to Ukraine secretly so that Ukraine could give it back to us, but in the form of a DNC donation for the Joe Biden election, because God bless, Mr. Ukraine, totally knew that what? Trump's going to try and shut it down. He going to cut the funding. He going to maybe like stop the whole thing. He was, poor Trump over here was talking a lot of hot shit, like end the Ukraine war in a day. That's one, rally promise that he didn't close on, unfortunately, which a lot of moving parts. So, hey, bro, some of the rally promises didn't happen, and that does bite, bro. But I don't know, man. I'm just a little bit more loyal than the average flipping person, I guess, because everybody on the freaking on the internet just kind of like giving up on the Trump MAGA movements, like kind of people. It's like baby with the bathwater, bro. Like, God bless. I don't know, man. Or I think people just like negative shit, of course, right? That old trope, right? So they don't see any of the positive shit that he's done, and they're like, all I see are the negative headlines. Brah. Like, he didn't do this and this and that. He's done. Well, he did do like a whole lot of other shit, bro. Like, yes, the closing the border was kind of important, okay? Tom Homan has found like freaking 500,000 of these 300,000 missing children of the border being open under Biden. He caught a bunch of fraud, waste, and abuse. Like, we got some good tax policy, a lot of places are saying, maybe like tranny men shouldn't like, be in the women's like Olympic thingies anymore, or like, sports in general. Hey, bro, if you want to be a transgender, cool, man. Like, more power to you. But please don't try and use public funding to do that shit because it's shady. Go work your ass off, get an effing job, and pay for it yourself. And then maybe tell some friends, maybe tell your therapist, definitely tell your parents. But you don't got to be running around, shoving it down everyone's throat on the internet or like out in public, right? Like, just be a flipping normal transgender, okay? My lord. But, going in women's sports and like, setting records that women will physically never be able to beat. So there's a lot of wins that nobody ever talks about. So, hopefully Miss Tulsi Gabbard here follows up and maybe we'll see some flipping justice. I don't know, man. It is hard to stay permanently positive on, hey, we have another investigation. Oh, we have another, like, oh, we found this. Like, okay, cool, bro. Like, y'all need to start arresting people in the streets. Like, God bless. We got JD Vance coming up here in a little bit. He's starting another fraud investigation committee. So we all hope to actually see some kind of an action, right? It's kind of in and out. Damn. It is in and out today. If I pull that back, I believe that's the magical slider. I believe that's the oh, America great again. All right, 9 o'clock. I believe that's the magical slider that makes it less in and out, but I think I was flipping my head around. Volume is a little goofy. It's quiet and then normal every few seconds. Gersh darn it. So today the machine booted up and it decided to be wonky. I don't know why. Nothing changed. I don't even think I took any kind of a update. Noise suppression is on, but I backed off the noise gate thing for when there's two people, so maybe this will be better. Maybe you can hear me better now. So yeah, because even if I talk over here, I'm seeing like full bars, so maybe that will help with the cutty in and outy. And now I'm gonna have to remember to fix that when Dan gets his butt back in here to help co-host this darn show. Next up, man, again, for these people bitching and moaning about Donald Trump not doing what he said he was going to do in the rallies. Or, oh man, now he's like a Zionist pro-Israel shill and like, oh boy, Israel's controlling him. Oh, geez. We're going to do another Trump flashback reminder because here, I believe, yeah, this is the one he's getting interviewed by Bubba Walters. And, let's hear what he said way back then. I didn't even get like a year stamp on this. It's like, what, like 2 decades ago?
I'm running for the presidency. I'm here because I'm personally tired of seeing this great country of ours being ripped off.
But as far as Trump is concerned, our allies are only part of the problem. The real culprit is Iran.
Why couldn't we go in and take over some of their oil, which is along the sea?
How would you do that? Would you send in the Marines? Would you take a chance in a war?
Let them have Iran. You take their oil. That's what
How?
How?
I mean, do we want a war? What do you...
Wait, I just wanted to pause. Damn, bro. He was cutthroat right here, bro. He's like, let them have their land. Just take the oil. Like, I want the good stuff.
That's what
How?
How?
I mean, do we want a war? What do you mean we take their oil?
You go in.
How do we go in?
You're going to have a war by being weak.
Okay, how do we...
That right there, folks. That is the takeaway phrase, in my humble opinion.
You're going to have a war by being weak.
Okay.
You're going to have the war by being weak. Like, straight up, bruh. Like, effing true, dude. Effing true, okay? Like, this whole, dance around BS thing. Sure, I don't like the whole, we just go around punching everybody in the face like military, world's bully guy or world police, blah, 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 when we don't need to. But the older I get, the more I comprehend macro geopolitics and shit and macroeconomics. If we weren't the world reserve currency, we all wouldn't have all these nice, stupid thingies, wouldn't have all this nice quality of life, even though, we're all crying a river here, about, oh, it's so tough to make the money. All the things are so expensive. All that shit's true. And now we're starting to be reminded what it feels like to live in these other effing countries, kind of, okay? So, I mean, I already had a pretty, keep it pretty frugal, cost of living. But, hey, man, I'm trying to get more frugal every damn day. That's also how rich people stay rich. So call me crazy, dude. I don't know. Call me crazy.
How do we go in?
You're going to have a war by being weak.
Okay, how do we go in? What do we do?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You're going to have a war. And it's going to start in the Middle East.
What if the Soviet Union said, you do this to Iran, we're going to come in?
I don't believe they'd do it. The next time Iran attacks this country, go in and grab one of their big oil installations. And I mean grab it and keep it. And get back your losses, because this country has lost plenty because of Iran.
And so what the people right now bitching and crying about, oh, we're attacking Iran and Donald Trump, but didn't say that in the rally. What? Maybe I'd be salty too if I didn't like Donald Trump, right? Like, hey, maybe this is Hillary Schminken or, Kamala Harris or some shit like that, right? So, maybe it's them, and I'm like, oh, they didn't say that. It was the part they left out, and there was their secret plan all along was the boost the military industrial complex. I might be saying that if I was on the other side of the road here, but I happen to agree with this guy and the president for the first time in my entire effing life. And let me tell you why, I guess. So this dude says this decades ago. He says, if Iran is to attack us again, we should just go up in there and take their oil. Like, hey, guys, so I'm going to take your moneymaker. Screw you, right? And now we control it like a show of power. And yeah, sure, we can all be like hippy-dippy liberals and be like, oh, that's mean. But it's because they attacked us. It's because they attacked us. It's not like we just went in there like, oh, we just wanted to go in there and screw with people. It's because they attacked us. Okay. So, that kind of makes sense to me. Where is it, man? I posted it on my Facebook today, and I don't think I threw it in the locals community. Where did it go? So he says this decades ago, right? If Iran attacks us. So then if I was talking to a simpleton, they would say, yeah, but Iran, like they haven't attacked us. Well, you see, Iran has attacked us, and what they did was tried to assassinate Donald Trump. Right? So, like, does anyone remember that? Like the whole like, Butler one where they like, took out a piece of his ear, like where they clipped his ear. Allegedly, the FBI investigated and said that was Iran, And then I believe two or three of the other ones, those were Iran too, allegedly, man. But I was listening to this YouTube guy today, and it seems like he is a very based man, young man, sounds like, and sounds like he grew up kind of Christian because he's well versed in the Bible, and he just whipped out this verse, bro. This is Exodus 22. If the thief is caught while breaking in and is struck so that he dies, there will be no blood guiltiness on his account. So, like, yo, dude, if there's someone that's going to try and get you, and they like broke into your stuff, like into your space where they're not supposed to be, and they're trying to steal your things or maybe harm or stop you from being alive. Yeah, dude, if they stopped being alive, that's okay. Is like literally what it says right here in the Bible. So all these people crying and bitching and moaning, and all these Christians that are like, oh my God, it's so mean, Mama do. Well, sounds like another case of Christianity picky choosy, right? Now, I agree. Everything in the Bible literal is a little bit crazy in modern times. But picking and choosing here, I like this one. So, hey, man, Iran tries to, take out Donald Trump, right? Time to go take their effing oil, maybe, because this dude probably remembers what he said 20 flipping years ago. And shit, now everyone's sharing it all around, so he probably saw it again and was like, that's exactly why, forgot why I was even doing this. Because I already believed this for last multiple decades or some shit, right? I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat, bro? Is that crazy? You guys heard that it was Iran behind the Donald Trump attempted assassination hits too, right? I'm not misremembering that, am I? But kind of makes sense. Kind of makes sense. And so far, it ain't a forever war. So still doing good on that. Right now it's just a conflict. And we went in there and so far dominated. And yeah, they flailed out and shot a couple bombs at other countries. That's super not cool. Yes, last I heard, we're up to 13 military soldiers that have been taken out in this conflict. Absolutely not cool. But those people signed up to give their life to try and defend our country. That is how the damn thing works. And unfortunately, we need people to go defend our country because that's how we keep all our nice toys. That's how we don't have to worry about bombs being dropped in our neighborhoods and shit like that, right? So if Israel had a whole big old wacko army and they were the reserve currency of the world, they wouldn't have to worry about bombs coming into Tel Aviv. And they're lucky that we helped them build the tech of the Iron Dome. They didn't even come up with that. We helped them do that. And that wasn't even an offensive weapon. That was just a defensive weapon. So, oh no, the horrible Zionists trying to help other people live from crazy wacko terrorists. Oh, like spare me the bullshit, Nancy. Jiminy crickets, man. These people on my Facebook ticked me off, man. Like today, I got back and forth with one of them. So I'm all riled up today. God bless it. Next up, I've got one here for you that says, remember last week when we took a look at Nick Shirley's latest video that was exposing the fraud over there in Cali? I believe we're in Cali now, right? And there was this one part, where they dressed up in business suits and they were going to do a satire, funny, haha. So they dressed up in these business suits and they went out front of this place. You remember this? You saw the episode last week, or maybe you watched the video. Hopefully someone from the show shared you this video, and that's how you saw it. Because we definitely don't want to be hoes this week, right, folks? You want to share that show? Did you share it to somebody? Share it right now real quick, man. Live chat could be even more popping. Share it over to a homie. Maybe they're just chilling. Share it on over real quick. So we were watching this last week. Mr. Nick Shirley and his guy over here were in front of this T-Step? What the hell is that letter before it? Step Home Healthcare and Hospice Consultations. Start your business today. So, simply judging by the sign, it's a how to start a hospice business, right? Well, as of now, they've taken that sign down and probably scurried away and started roaching out, bruh. Because when they went to this place, they was asking questions and two chicks popped out like they didn't know anything about what the hell they were talking about. And I don't know, call me crazy, but one might imagine they weren't even working in the back on, hospice consultations. They were probably just plugged into a webcam doing OnlyFans, blowing time, being two heads at this business in case somebody come around. Or, hey, you're renting the business out, might as well rent it out to some hoes, right? I don't know, call me crazy.
Joined a business partner right here. His name's Darren, and we're here outside the Hospice Consultants, and we would like to start our own hospice today. We're just two young men who want to become millionaires here inside the United States, and it seems like the only way to do it nowadays is by committing fraud. So we're going to go in and see if we can start our own hospice. Are you guys the Hospice Consultants?
Yes.
Oh, can we talk to you guys?
About?
I want to open my hospice.
You want to open a hospice?
Yeah.
Okay, what was your name?
My name's Nick, but I want to open up a hospice.
I understand, but we don't take care of that.
Can I get some information?
Do you want a number?
Yeah, or give me a flyer.
What do they take care of? Like if they're there, they didn't come from the front desk, did they? I don't know. We didn't see exactly where they came from, but it looked like they came from this door on the left. Call me crazy and biased. I don't know. But what are you doing here at the hospice consultation, business building?
And this is the hospice consultant. All right, so they say they're open right now. They won't let us into the lobby. This is no way to conduct business. We are two entrepreneurs trying to open up our own hospice.
Soaked to the bone right now.
We were denied service by the potential fraudsters, and as we were leaving, one of the fraudsters started to leave from the back in a $200,000 Maybach.
And we have a Mercedes-Benz driving out. Where can we open a hospice at? We'd like to open up a hospice. Get a Maybach just like you. So is this how I can get a Maybach by opening up my own hospice?
Now, after seeing all the
He's not really trying to get a hospice. He's trying to just show how we are fraudulating the system. Son of a biscuit. Yeah, dude. So, signs down now. That's kind of sus, right? Investigate them. Shackle them up in handcuffs if found to be guilty. Shit, bro. Come on now, man. That's, man, I read one. It's like, you're over here struggling, working your ass off on a job. Prices are going up. Times are tough. And then, like the person down the street is just, fraudulating the damn system and taking your damn tax money and running around in a effing Maybach. That's painful, right, folks? Gee, man, Christmas. So, interesting that, one of the businesses highlighted last week appears to be completely taking their sign down and likely shut down, right? On that note, where did it go? Here did it go? Yeah, we can keep the topic formulated together. So here we are getting word that J.D. Vance has started up a fraud investigation committee and got to meet with Mr. Nick Shirley himself. So, like God bless this kid, man. Nice little Mormon kid trying to just do his little journalist thing, man. God dang. Independent journalism, amen. And he got to meet with the VP, dog. Which, one may argue pretty objectively, the whole entire J.D. Vance fraud committee right now is being started because of damn Nick Shirley, right?
Now that we have the fraud task force here inside the United States, what will you guys be doing different than something that we haven't done before to tackle fraud here?
Well, two really big things, Nick. So the first of all is we're going to be...
Hold on. If you haven't heard this, make sure you're not currently drinking something. Maybe sitting down. Don't have heavy things in your hands, because you might want to throw them and then it would break more shit. Don't be holding something because you might let go and it might smash you in the head. Because what you're about to hear It's infuriating.
Coordinating across the government in a way that's really never been done before to focus on anti-fraud. So let's say, for example, that Scott Bessent or somebody at the Secretary of Treasury's office sees a fraudulent payment made, but it's not, it's not at the Treasury Department, it's at the Center for Medicare and Medicaid. There's going to be coordination now so that when one person in the government sees fraud happening, they're actually telling everybody else so that we can get to the root of it and hopefully prosecute it. And that leads me to my second point, and maybe the
better systems.
Most important is we've never before within the Department of Justice had a committed anti-fraud task force, a committed assistant attorney general who's focused on the fraud issue. What our new AAG focused on.
That's annoying.
Fraud has told me that right now we don't even prosecute fraud that's under $1.5 million, which means there's a lot of fraudsters who never get caught, who never get punished. We're changing that too. So there's people.
What? What? You're meaning to tell me we're not getting the peoples who are frauding under 1.5? Dude. The easy analogy, folks. The easiest effing analogy, if you don't already know where this is going. This is just as ignorant as California upping that limit to people don't get in trouble, arrested, and go to jail for under $1,000 of stolen goods retail crime. Then you get people going in there freaking shopping like it's flipping, Price is Right. Let's make sure that I get all the way up to that $999. As long as it's that, I'm gonna walk right out, dude. They ain't gonna arrest me. So what did that do? Pretty clear. If you didn't see those videos, it just encouraged more theft because everybody was like, okay, so if I'm reading this right, you're saying it's totally fine and I can totally get away with up to $999 of stealing. Bet. Thanks for giving me the blueprint. I'm going to go do that, right? We're not catching people and putting them away for under $1.5 million? I lost my shit when I heard this.
People who are making $1.5 million committing fraud, and they used to not be prosecuted. When can we expect to see prosecutions take place, for instance, for example, like the Lears at the Leering Center?
So we just got
like the Learers.
Our new AG confirmed. He hasn't even been sworn in yet. I'll swear him in next week, actually. And look, I think the plan is we got to start doing prosecutions as quickly as possible. These cases take a little while to build. You've got to investigate. You've got to gather evidence. But now that we have that guy set up, now that we have Colin McDonald set up, I think in a matter of months, we should be seeing a significant ramp up in the number of prosecutions that we're seeing.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Of course. Good to meet you, man. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Well, yes, God bless. Get the effing fraud people. Get them out of here, bro. I don't know. Again, I'm super biased, so I totally believe that shit that Trump and then the White House or whatever and other people were spinning around last week, where it's if we got rid of half the fraud, we could probably balance the budget. Think about that. What is the budget? The budget every year is what? Like a trillion? Like a 1.5 trillion? Is it 2 trillion? 3 trillion? 4? The debt's 35 trillion-ish, right? So the yearly debt. Let's go to Grok. Let's Grok it up. Hold up. What is the annual USA national debt? Pick-a boom. All right. Apostrophe. 2026, March 20, as of now. Yeah, no, what's the... Yeah, no, with 31 trillion. 31 trillion is the total thing, right? End of fiscal year 2025. Yeah, no, what? That's for annual, bro. Okay, for fiscal year 2025, deficit was about 1.78 to 1.8 trillion. AKA spending $7 trillion minus revenue of 5.2 trillion, which is what unbalanced budget means. So we do get away with it, right? Because, we're the global reserve currency and we can print money and stuff. So it gets a little bit more complicated. I just started reading Ray Dalio's latest book, and sounds like it's going to be right up my alley. It's like understanding the big debt cycle and how this functions, and then how to understand where we're at a time. So then you can, either make, investments or moves in some manner, right? But, balancing the budget, okay, is only 1.7, let's just round up, $1.8 trillion away to like balance it and not make a profit, okay? So it was like 19 billion with the Somalis, and then like, it was like 10 billion over in like Ohio. Like, what's the number over in California, so like this, it's not just, criminal alien, like legal, fraud or whatever, right? It's all fraud, folks. So what was it? 45 billion that we gave Cali to do the homeless stuff, and they did absolutely jack all with it, right? I mean, that 45 billion would go towards that balancing of the budget, right? What was the total that Doge saved on USAID, right, dog? Okay. What was the total we're at that Doge has saved from stopping fraud or finding it, like USAID, and up to current on their X profile, because they still are talking about stopping fraud and other fraud like tamales in Minnesota and Ohio and others in the Cali, like giving 45 billion. Oh, we're switching screens. 45 billion for homelessness that never was addressed. Add this all up, and how close would we maybe, sort of, probably, maybe get to balancing the budget? Balancing the budget. I don't know, man. Is that like naive, stupid, bias? Like, I feel like get rid of half the effing fraud, fix half the effing fraud. It would be pretty close to in a budget. Okay, you can see this now. I made it bigger. Oh, it's thinking, bro. Grok Expert right now on the Grok Pro, dude. You get like 4 agents at a time that look shit up. It sounds like a neat idea. It's like Agent 1 looking into this, Agent 2 looking into that, Agent 3, 4. Okay. Got me a little team of agents. All right, so all we got to get is 1.8 trillion. Oh, they upped it. 1.8 to 1.9 trillion. Let's round it up to 2. Deficit running about 1 trillion in the first 5 months. Well, this is why running America like a business is even more flipping important, right, folks? Like, I don't know, everybody bitches and moans about the tariffs, but when they settle down or whatever the F, right, that's actually that's turning America into a membership product. It's like a subscription fee, perhaps you would say, but it's turning it into a product. It's like, hey, dog, you got to like pay to play here, man. And that's how you make money. Because then if we don't make America, or like if the states don't make a state, like a product, if we don't have some businessman that monetizes these institutions, the only place to get money is from our pockets. So that's why, man, I think that's the easiest example for somebody bitching and moaning about this that I'm going to use from now on. Yeah, okay, cool. You're like scared about the tariffs and you heard a bunch of negative shit. Like, let me put it this way. If we don't do things like tariffs, the only place to get money from is your pocket with taxes, in fees, and fines. Because everybody already knows what? The old trope that like, the city's low on cash, so they put out like the cops got to get this many tickets a week or a month or whatever, right? Oh, they got to fill up that piggy bank. So they're just going to go out and be more stringent about the laws and try and catch everybody on little every nickel dime kind of thing, right? I just got a stupid traffic ticket at the end of last year. No turn on red during 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And it was $150. But they go, hey, dude, I'll give you a 6 months court supervision, and then it's totally off your record, and it's not a moving violation because, you get too many of those, they take your license away. So just to be safe and a smart adult, I said, well, yeah, dude, let's do that. And they said, all right, cool. Just pay the $400 fine, and, we'll be all good. And that shit went up a lot. I said, oh, wow, it goes up to 400, eh? And the guy looked at me like, did you really just talk back? I just gave you the out. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I don't have a stop on this mouth. And he was like, well, there's a lot more paperwork involved. I was like, bruh, how about you don't put me on court supervision and nobody has to watch me? And, now and then the rules don't make any sense, right? Grand total with the other fraud would out us positive. Might as well add the tariff profits in too. Yeah, right. Well, I guess 2025 did have some tariffs. For 2025, after revenue of 5.2 trillion, we were still shy 1.8, right? Okay, what do we got here? Doge's claims, blah, 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 blah. Doge claims 215 billion in total estimated savings. So that feels like a little bit of a drop in the bucket, but, things add up. Contract lease cancellations, $61 billion. Grant cancellations, $49 billion. Workforce reductions. Doge highlighted terminations like 1.7 billion to the Gavi Foundation. The recent ones I've been seeing on their profile is definitely like, a little bit adds up. It's like millions here, millions there, a couple billion. Not direct additions to Doge's federal 2.15 billion tally. They are mostly state level or pre-existing probes that Doge/Trump highlighted for border anti-fraud. Okay, Somalis. What happened to Somali 19 billion? It didn't say that, huh? Is that like a fake news going around in our circles? I heard it was up to like 19 billion. Realistic combined total Doge spotlighted roughly about 215 to 220 billion. Okay, give me the summary. Bottom line, Doge has spotted and cut real waste and fraud. Doo-ba-doo-ba-doo. Oh, it didn't even answer the question. Hello? With those and shutting down the Somali fraud scream and other state fraud schemes, how close are we to balancing budget with what we have heard is being likely shut down? Like, how far from balanced budget? I don't know, man. Just seeing that it was 1.9 trillion, and then if Doge cut 215, that's like what, 1/8? Like, let's just round it up to 2 trillion and then say like 250 billion. That's like 1/8. So we're like 7/8 away. So like, so throwing the if we cut out half the fraud, it'd be balanced is definitely like a rough estimation of like, something you would like feel like if you're in the space that you could maybe, riff off of, and it's somewhat accurate because you've been looking at a whole bunch of stuff, and it sounds like, I don't know what you're talking about if you're not like super into it or something, right? But that doesn't sound that crazy to me, man. Like, God dang. And then, turn up the dial on, monetizing America or something like that, right? How much money are those Trump gold cards going to bring in? They're like $5 million each. We can get another like $50-100 million a year on that. Not bad, right? Not bad. It's stuck on like only the Doge thing. I think this didn't work out, and we have been on this one long enough, folks. But yeah, dude, I would really like to see something come out of the JD Vance fraud committee. Pretty cool seeing him with Nick Shirley, and all of this independent journalism kind of kind of getting some, limelight. I do think that would be that is a good thing. I do think that's a positive note on the week right there, folks. I'd say so. Next up, this is we are not medical professionals here, and I do not give you any medical advice. Please seek your doctor's advice for anything to do with medical stuff. I just look up things on the internet. But this one does come from the alleged authority that is the CDC. So if you just go ahead and throw it in the Googles, autism and vaccines CDC. Boom, bang, right here. We got the website. Okay. And what does this say? Well, this was updated November 19th, pretty recently. I think we might have covered this, so maybe this is just a memory berry. But they definitely finally came out and said the claim vaccines do not cause autism is not an evidence-based claim because studies have not ruled out the possibility that infant vaccines cause autism. So they actually have no idea. To which this, goes into details and yabba dabba doo. But very interesting that now that we don't have a, one-sided agenda-pushing administration, all of a sudden, what is supposed to be the official authority in the land, that we kind of disagreed with during COVID because we really didn't believe that they were coming out with real facts and just, forcing and lying and putting out a bunch of baloney out there, literally comes out and says, well, we actually can't say that vaccines do not cause autism. And there are studies that have started to show there might be some kind of a connection with vaccines and autism. It was like a week or two ago. I covered it from, the good friend of the show, Mr. Hulsher, MPH. They got a 82-page report that shows the connections of autism and vaccines. And he put it through all of the three top AIs, and they all kind of said, like the report, is pretty factually based. And it does seem that perhaps, maybe vaccines could be connected with autism. So the search continues, I feel like the chat probably agrees with that. Not sure we need to ask on that one. Next up here, I was saying, well, this does sound like, good old change the incentive, get a different outcome, right? So Secretary Scott Bessent is now launching a new program on Monday that will reward tipsters with up to 30% of the fines imposed on criminals who are trying to bleed the U.S. taxpayers dry. This could backfire because it's kind of like a turn in your neighbor thing, and that's getting close to like the communism turn in your neighbor thing. But, and maybe, could be a good thing because, we got, rewards for finding criminals, finder's fees and stuff like that. Oh, what up, Trolly Troll? How you be doing, this Monday night? Yeah, so far we're doing pretty good on no new wars. I don't know if you were here for the opener, but I don't know how you define a war, but I believe in the dictionary, and there's more words in the dictionary than 0 to 100 words. And right now, I would say we're in a military conflict, and so far, they haven't really attacked us. So there's definitely no two-sided war, kind of one-sided. And we've taken out like, 2 to 3 of their supreme leaders that, support a regime that murders thousands of people a year. At minimum, 1,000 something, maybe 2,000. People tell me it might be, maybe sort of kind of could be 2,000. Mr. Scott Bessent here seems like, he's going to incentivize more independent journalism because if you find fraud, waste, and abuse, folks, and you blow the whistle, if you're on the inside, this might be incentive to like come out. If you're not going to get nothing, but maybe lose your job, you might keep, going through the old motions there. But, hey, man, whistleblower, payment. So 30% of the scammers' fines goes to the finder. Nice finder's feed. We got 400,000 views on that one. Doing good, doing good. California's lost money. Yeah. $32 billion for COVID relief payment fraud. $24 billion for unaccounted homeless relief. Yeah, it was $24 billion. That's ridiculous. $18 billion high-speed rail fraud. Zero track laid. $2.5 billion food stamp fraud. And then $650 million 9/11 system that never worked. Or 911. And then maybe some of that state money, but probably a lot of it came from federal funds, which comes from taxpayers. So, I mean, like, you know, like right there, we've got like another 100 billion. No, like what, 50, 75? Get another 75 billion. Add that to the, you know, the ticker. But that is pretty interesting. So if you know somebody that likes the independent journalist, let them know that they now, too, can get a finder's fee from Uncle Sam. Hopefully, Mr. Nick Shirley makes some cash, because I was watching some kind of like an interview he was doing, and that last one he went to do out in Cali, he said it was 15 stacks because he had to get security because people are starting to do the wacko extreme leftist thing. Like the ICE thing where they're going to, like, you know, expose the ICE people to try and stop them and shit. So now when people see Nick Shirley, they've got, you know, private messaging groups and they're like, yo, dude's here, show up and, you know, make sure that like something happens. So now he's got to get security and that issue is expansive. You know what I mean? So I do generally not support sending troops to the ground, unless there was some kind of a situation that merited it. So I don't like to talk in absolutes because I think that's ignorant. Again, like I said, there's more words in the dictionary than 0 to 100 words, right? There's more opinions than 0 to 100. There's this thing called nuance. So if something like a group of Terrys that have oppressed a group of millions of people, how many people are in Iran? I'm like it's way more than thousands, right? It's millions. So they've oppressed these people for 47 years. Like there's like slews of interviews of people. There's polls that say 90%, 91%. People tell me 91% of Iranians say they don't like the Islamic regime. So, you know, if that were to be true and we can't get them from blowing up all their thingies, then I might support troops on the ground. But now, right, you know, as of current, there are no troops on the ground, right? I do believe we're flying around blowing thingies up, right? Now, what's crazy is during the Ukraine war, everybody was like, rah, 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 give Ukraine all the bombs to blow up Russia. I'm super confused because Russia is not a global terrorist. Now, sure, maybe Russia does bad shit that they don't like. Yeah, sure. Maybe Russia was like, yo, dude, so we had a deal, Ukraine. I gave you money and you didn't pay it. And we made a deal that if you didn't pay it, I'm going to take this little piece of strategic land that's right next to this, you know, bay, you know, right here next to the water so I can conduct business. And I would like to, you know, hey, you're a tiny little, you know, screw you country. So, you know, we're going to go ahead and take that land. That's what it all started over, right? So, like, they had a deal, you know, Ukraine defaulted, and then Russia went to take the land. And then the headlines were, oh my God, Russia's horrible and goes to take the land. And then, you know, warmongering Joe Biden and his administration and all the Democrat cronies that make all the money off the stocks of the military industrial complex and the rhinos, the Republicans in name only, that are also selling out America by investing in, you know, things that make them a bunch of money where, you know, we're still screwed. They all wanted to go to war with Ukraine. So they're like, cool, give them a bunch of weapons, give them a bunch of money. Let's go fight Russia for taking some land. Okay? Maybe they were killing some people. Was it in the thousands? I don't think it was yet. That was only after the big war conflict started, right? So if we have a Terry organization, the Hezbollah, that have literally been saying death to Americans for decades, the regime leader guy, the Khamenei that we took out, was there for 47 years, okay? That dude was also shooting ships in the frickin' Strait of Hormuz and, you know, jacking up business They're literally on the books for killing thousands of people a year, right? They're going around doing all kinds of terrorism. That's on the ground, man. You know, I want it. Call me crazy, bro. Like sometimes, you know, you need to like, you know, give the backhand, dog. Like shit. Abide by whatever your dear leader says, right? Well, I have explained to you how my brain works, which had nothing to do with what Trump says when do it. What charges have come from Shirley doing stuff? Nothing yet. Yeah, I think you might have just missed it. JD Vance started a official fraud investigation committee. So yeah, you know, doomer gloomers, black pillars are like, you know, well, we're not seeing anybody arrested. I agree. We all want to see effing arrest. And hey, I don't want to just another committee that looks into shit, right? So that sucks. We don't have nothing arrested yet. But we do have a bunch of businesses that are scattering out like roaches, right? I was showing one from last week that he covered. And then now this week, their sign's gone. And they're not in the building anymore. Wilkinson says they're appealing the laws so they can prosecute fraud under 1.5 million, thanks to Mr. Shirley, so charges shall come soon. Yes, that was another big one that blew my effing mind. So they got some dumb, stupid effing rule that says, oh, we're not going to prosecute things that are under 1.5 million, just like the stupid shit in Cali where they're not going to prosecute, you know, under $1,000, right? So like, God bless, bro. So now it's stupid red tape and bureaucratic bullshit, which, you know, hey, we should probably get rid of the filibuster. I'd be crying and moaning if the dirty Democrats get in office and they're just running all their policy because now we don't have a filibuster. But maybe that's good. Okay. I don't know. Because when the good guys are in, they need to do policy instead of just getting stopped and not being able to do anything. We don't have the Doge cuts made official. You know, hey, that's a negative marker right now that I'm bitching and moaning about the Trump admin. So can they do anything about it? No. So is it Trump's fault? No. Can he keep trying to make deals with people and make it happen? Yeah, I believe he is. So the Doge cuts are still on the table to be voted on. So like even like my side, the Trump side people in the Congress still not voting on it. That's pretty lame, bro. Save America Act. Yo, voter ID, bro. It's pretty brain dead, easy, simple. Voter ID, not a big deal. Everybody's got to go vote in unless you're like disabled or you're jacked in the head or, you know, military, some extreme situation. No more mail-in voting like masses. Like that's way too easy to be frauded. Sure, it sucks. And I argued with somebody this week about, oh, Donald Trump's a hypocrite because he mail-in voted, but now he wants to get rid of mail-in voting. And like, oh, yeah, sure, bro. But that's like stupid. That's like if somebody came into like, you know, town city mayor and they were like, yo, so we recently upped the speed limits to 75 miles per hour, but I was reviewing the accident reports and I noticed that they went up they went up drastically and a lot of people died because of the 75 mile per hour increase on the freeway. So I'm going to propose we lower that to 65 miles per hour again, even though that man probably drives the speed limit. So it doesn't make him hypocritical. It's, yo, I was abiding by the rules. And then I saw that other people were breaking those rules or like causing problems by, you know, utilizing the rule, bending them and stuff. So I guess I shouldn't do that either anymore. And that's what I feel like, you know, Save America Act is. So less mail-in voting, voter ID all day. Yeah, bro, I like literally told you, what has Russia done? Hey, maybe they're bad guys too. But all it started over was they were trying to be totalitarian in taking some land. Now, sure, you can call that mean. You can call it crude. But it sure as hell isn't killing thousands of people a year like the Hezbollah. So, if anything, I guess the point of that opinion is it seems like from my purview that Russia might not be as bad as the Islamic regime in Iran. Call me crazy, hot take. Flip that shit. Next one we got here. Oh man, I'm so glad you're here, Trolley. Did you attend your local No Kings rally this weekend, good sir? Did you get your trophy of participation? I would only imagine that a loser fest like that hands out trophies of Participation, folks, because there's no winning at a No Kings rally. So not much to cover, in my humble opinion. They were mostly a bust. It was a bunch of Riri's doing some weird shit. I saw a few clips on accident. I'm like, this is junk food TV. I ain't trying to watch this bullshit. But man, some like people with mental handicaps, right? They're like walking on their they're like dog walking on their hands and knees, and they got like angry Trump signs and shit. God bless America. But it seems that not so many people showed up this year like they did last year. So maybe the funds were cut because the USAID was shut down. But anyway, I thought we would sum it up with a few quick posts. So here we have got the good man himself, the ridiculous Alex Stein, counter protesting the Riri's.
Sorry. You guys are retarded. You are a retard. Everybody here is a retard. These people are vaccinated retards. These people are vaccinated retards. These people are vaccinated retards. Anybody that believes these people is a vaccinated retard. I'm leading this protest. I'm the pimp on a blend. This guy's a vaccinated idiot. Look at these libtards here. Every single one of them is retarded and vaccinated. Now look at these little girls with their guns. Look at these little girls with their guns. Oh, you guys are so scary with your guns and your gay pride flags. Bunch of homos with guns here. Look at these guys. Look at these homos with guns. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. We run this.
Pretty funny, man. It goes on for multiple minutes. You get the point. If you're interested, folks, don't forget that down in the description box down below, you can click on the receipts blog post. The blog machine is working fantastic, and I got it working again today before the show so that the receipts are hot off the press, folks. They are hot off the press. You click on the receipts, right there in the link description in the box down below, and boom, they pop right up. Beep, boop. And then it's really easy. Right on the website, you can come right down. Oh, this is last week's. So you go boop, and then you go boop, right? So you click the link in the description box, and you can find all these links for all the shows right here. And you go right down and you open them up and look into them more because maybe I didn't cover the whole thing. Maybe you wanted to watch more about it and shit like that. But you check all these guys out, man. Like right here, boom. Hey, look, we got the one we were just talking about. And you can also share these on your feed if you're not a ninny. Or if you need to stay in the closet and, maybe get in trouble with your friends, family members, or your coworkers, or get fired or something somehow. But I don't think they do that no more. Maybe don't share them on your public feed and help awareness. And then instead, just share them to somebody you know that needs to hear about a topic that we covered here on the show. So pull that ish up and check it on out, folks. The receipts are in the box down below. Check them out. The computer seems to be a little glitchy today, but hey, it's working. It's working. Where did we leave off here? Okay. Wait, I thought what? Oh, okay, I got it. Second one in this topic here. So the fake news outright ignored the massive pro-Trump, pro-Iranian march. Iranian people, obviously. Freeing of the people of the oppression from the, radical Islamic regime. So this march was in Washington, D.C., but they sure gave wall-to-wall coverage to all them damn No Kings protests, right? And made them look like they were big, big, big. They didn't really have any zoom-outs like this. They, get up front and make it look like there's just a ton of people back behind because everybody just assumes it was like a full banger protest. But they were pretty crickets this year, at least the videos I saw. Probably my bias feed, right? So maybe there were some big ones, but here's a pro-Trump rally trying to counter-protest during the No Kings weekend. Bet you didn't see that on the news. Maybe share this one out to somebody that's like, oh my God, No Kings were so stomping on you. I'd share it to Trolley, but I don't have to. He just shows up for me. It's very nice and convenient of him. Shows up every week so I can just show how silly his headline understandings of the world are. It just don't make no sense, folks, you know? So then we come over here to Brother Crowder. Open up the X link, would you? Brother Crowder here is going to break it down for us here, right? Over 500 groups worth roughly $3 billion are behind the No Kings protest. Really? What?
There are 500 groups involved, worth about $3 billion in revenue behind the protests. A lot of them are funded by the CCP-linked Neville Royce Singham. We've talked about them before, including the People's Forum in New York, the Party for Socialism and Liberation, the Answer Coalition, and of course Code Pink. Remember, we talked about this. Code Pink was founded by Singham's wife, Jody Evans. They were behind that whole Cuba thing where they went and gave a bunch of supplies to the communist government so they could assist them in murdering and silencing more dissidents. Here we have Madeline Pendleton, an activist from that convoy, openly discussing, so don't take my word for it, openly discussing communist Chinese funding and how they would like more of it.
So People's Forum is funded by a Chinese billionaire. You hear that about PSL a lot, and there is a Chinese billionaire who gives PSL some money sometimes. But the Chinese billionaire gives People's Forum a lot of money, and they posted a really funny thing about it back in 2021 that I want to show you. So they said for months.
What's like reverse treason? This is just like an attack. This is like a foreign attack, bruh. Like we found out that USAID people, some absolute a-holes that hate America working in non-governmental organizations linked to our government, were literally trying to collude with Ukraine to funnel back money into the Biden administration or the campaign through the DNC. So then that was going to be giving our money to a foreign country, and then the foreign country was going to meddle in our elections like the Russia collusion hoax, but Ukraine with our own money because they're poor as shit, right? And then now we've got straight up freaking handicapped TDS patients, No Kings protesters openly talking about how Chinese billionaires are funding these.
We've been the target of a campaign that alleges our funding comes from dark money. A few years ago, we met Roy Singham, a Marxist comrade who sold his company and donated most of his wealth to nonprofits that focus on political education, culture, and internationalism. It seems to bother some folks that we receive funding that furthers our anti-imperialist politics. It seems to bother them even more that our funder is also a staunch anti-imperialist whose work goes back to the Black Panthers and the LRBW in Detroit. The folks who make allegations against us are steeped in the worst kind of racism, believing somehow that our funding robs us of agency and self-determination. Roy follows in the footsteps of his father, Archie, a committed activist for national liberation. We've got that open too. Ultimately, our solidarity with the peoples and countries at the epicenter of the struggle against U.S. imperialism will not be moved by the racist allegations made by the people who loudly echo State Department and Pentagon discourse. He does fund some stuff. It's certainly not the sole source of most people's funding. And also, who cares? He's a leftist. He sold his company, he got rich, he wants to give all his money away, right? If fucking Cardi B was doing all of this for the Democratic Party, you'd be patting her on the back. I don't know. They try to make it seem like the Chinese Communist Party is secretly running these like little campaigns out here. You know what I mean? I wish, first of all, that would be dope as hell if we all just got paid to be communists by the Chinese Communist Party. I'd be so on board.
Now, think about that. That would be so.
That poor girl's brain is full broken. Trolley, I think I found you a girlfriend, Trolley. She sounds like she's right up your dumb ass alley.
That would be dope. I'd be so on board. This is probably someone who, obviously there are no kings, thinks that Donald Trump is a tyrant and doesn't understand that if you are a Uyghur shop owner, meaning a Muslim Chinese, you still have to violate your own religious conscience and sell alcohol and cigarettes in China. Also, if you have the wrong Bible, you'll be imprisoned. They've run over dissidents with tanks, but it's okay. You need to understand this with the communists of the world. It's okay because the ends justify the means. I'd be so on board with pushing Chinese propaganda. Also, just for more proof, if you search for No Kings on Google, the first things that pop up, Chinese state media.
Interesting. Almost like the Chinese is totally trying to, spin up turmoil in the States. They probably could care less if anything about Trump, but whatever it is that's trying to take away their possible global takeover of the reserve currency to then control how financials run in the world, they're going to try and take them down. So that's a good one to share to somebody that's, they say talking bullshit about how, the No Kings protest, like, bruh, funded by foreign governments. What a horrible situation. And then on this topic, I thought I'd leave us with, the hopium drip. You know what I mean? What up, simp and door? Welcome to the following. I have no idea what that means. So the last one on this topic is this is the example of how you turn a third world country into a first world country. We have seen how you turn a first world country into third world country, right? Open the borders, let a bunch of people in that do a bunch of bad stuff, and it starts turning into a bad place, right? Well, Mr. What's his name? Nayib Bukele, down over there in El Salvador, posted this video that went super mega viral this week. And this is what happens when you actually just lock up all the damn criminals.
I'm not what happened to me. I'm what I choose to be. Each step I take, I shift, I rise. The past dissolves before my eyes. I'm not what happened to me. I'm what I choose to be. Each step I take, I shift, I rise. The past dissolves before my
So, I mean, things look pretty darn good over there in El Salvador, which was like total fish hole, third worldy, blah, blah, terrible place. Like everybody was trying to leave that place, come here, you get anywhere. So all of a sudden he cracks down, makes that super mega crazy prison, puts the criminals away, and then gets rid of the gangs. And then all of a sudden the place looks fantastic. So that is how you turn a third world country into a first world country. And, we should probably start doing that again, like we used to. So we stop going, a little bit away from being a first world country, like, hey, maybe it's a little bit, it's a little bit drastic saying like, we're getting close to, but we're going to start slipping, folks. It's a slippery slope. We stop putting away the criminals. We keep letting things go on, next thing you know, we don't have all these nice little stupid toys and such a nice little life here because things all went to shit. The CPAC thing was this week, and boy, that thing's kind of falling apart, which sucks because, this is why, the left is winning. Their team stays together almost no matter effing what for the main purpose cause, but smart people are picky and, overthinky kind of people, and as soon as one thing happens, they're like, I don't know if I need to do, or as soon as, things get good, it seems like the right side, the conservative side, just doesn't have the oomph like they did when, the fire was really under their ass and, needed to show up or something like that, right? So CPAC was a little bit...
America great again. We'll make America great again.
All right, cool, 10 o'clock. So CPAC was maybe not as packed as it was before, right before the election, but it also is, like not close to an election. But we did have RFK Jr. there, and he was dropping some truth bombs. Let's check this one out.
I'm going to add one more, and I know I just have to ask this.
Was it like super mega quiet?
If your dad were alive today, what would he say
y'all
about
hear?
you and what you've done?
I mean, everything that I've done in my life and the choices I made in my career are choices that I that I think my father and my uncle would support. I think that if they were around today, that they would be making the same kind of choice that President Trump is about Iran, about Ukraine, about trying to raise up the middle class. I'll tell you something that, I grew up in a Democratic Party when the Democrats owned 30% of the wealth and the Republicans owned 70% of the wealth. And today, it's exactly the inverse. The Democrats own 70% of the wealth and the Republicans own 30% of the wealth. And the Democrats are no longer on the side of the middle class. They're contemptful of it. And President Trump is completely committed to farmers, to firemen, to police, to people who are working in this country. And that was the Democratic constituency that I grew up with.
Well, I want to.
Yeah, man. So, that's pretty cool, man. And then I believe he also was, what was it? He came out with something this week too, man. But yeah, Mr. RFK always doing great things, man. He says, I don't know, man, call me crazy. Them Democratic dad and uncle of mine, they'd probably be doing the same things that Trump are doing. What do you know? It's almost like half the flipping cabinet is old Democrats, right? Because, hey, RFK Jr. was a Democrat, Tulsi was a Democrat, Trump was a Democrat. So the Democrats won, but they had to switch the color because the Democrat Party has gone absolutely off the rails. Crazy, right? And I mean, who else to say, RFK, and then JFK, would do what Trump did, then, the kid, the nephew, probably knows him, probably knows what, those people are like. So straight from the mouth, right? Good interview this week from our good friend of the show, Mr. Benny Johnson. And he got the honor to go and interview Mr. J.D. Vance, where they covered all sorts of things from, the alien disclosure, which J.D. is on the camp of believing there are more demons than aliens, to, what's going on currently in the White House.
The White House has been out saying Ilhan Omar married her brother, that these are deportable.
Wait, that's what's going on in the White House? We might have headway on Ilhan Omar being denaturalized because we finally, oh my God, I got to find the podcast I was on when the guys laughed at me for saying she married a brother.
Denaturalization offenses.
Yeah, so we actually think that Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud.
If, perhaps, hypothetically.
Definitely. So, check this out, guys. If you are into this stuff, it was pretty good. It's a big 25-minute-er. So, hey, I don't think we need to go into the whole damn thing. And that was, pretty much the highlights there. He is pretty certain that Ilhan Omar has married her brother. I heard they got DNA evidence about this now. So now they're just looking at what is the legal pathway to, adjudicate this properly. Also, you don't want to look like, you're just attacking your political opponents like the last administration. So hopefully these people do it smartly, but, get the let out and hurry up and get it the F done because we want to see somebody charged or something. And then the Somali community of Somalia in Somalia came out and said, hey, man, why don't you just come back here, Ilhan Omar? Don't let them deport you. Just come on home. He's going to be like, I don't know about that. So not only is she very likely to have married her brother and committed, immigration fraud, but the wine business and now the investment business also seem to be complete fugazi, fraudulent companies where she was claiming money in them.
He's one of the people who really blew the lid off this crazy fraud in Minnesota with the Somalian illegal immigrant community there. And you know what he said is a lot of people in my generation, Nick, I don't know exactly how old he is. He's probably 21, 22. He's like, they can't find a job making $60,000 a year, which is what they'd like to be able to, buy a home and support a family. And meanwhile, they've got fraudsters. He's talking about his friends, not abstractions. His friends can't find that job, but they see people driving Mercedes making $1 million defrauding the American people. It's an absolute disgrace. And I think if we don't fix it, we are not going to have a country in 10 years.
Well, what people need to see, I think that the fraud has been laid bare. We've all seen the Leering Center, right?
Correct.
The Leering Center is not an actual daycare.
No.
The Leering Center was fraud, right? And we've seen the hospice fraud in California. And so I think it's been demonstrated that this is a problem. What people need to see now is like arrests,
yes,
right?
100%.
Deportations. They need to see that the federal government, the gears of justice grind against these people and they're not allowed to just continue.
Yes. So let me give you an example, something I just talked about upstairs, but I think it's worth reiterating for your viewers. So you take a program that exists within Medicaid to help autistic children get the resources that they need. So you have a Somalian fraudster in suburban Minneapolis who says that they have 3 kids who are autistic, and maybe they don't even have 3 kids, and they certainly don't have 3 kids who are autistic. So it takes money away from the American citizens who need these services. It defrauds the taxpayer. And you're absolutely right that the thing that we need to do is get real justice. So, something I learned just the past couple of months, I had no idea that we do not prosecute fraud in this country if it's under $1.5 million.
Yeah, like we were talking about before.
Okay?
Yeah.
So think about that. Think of all the people who are $1.5 million a year. This is not chump change. That is meaningful money. And by the way, sometimes by prosecuting the lower level people, you get to the higher level people, who have sort of the conspiracy to commit fraud against the American people. So one of the things that we're trying to do with this task force is commit the Department of Justice to investigating all fraud and actually going after the people who are doing it at the small scale of $1.4 million, but also actually looking at the big conspiracies that are out there. Because, Benny, I don't know about you, but I do not believe that what happened with the Somalian immigrant community in Minnesota, I don't think that happens without some cooperation from politicians, without other people looking the either way, or maybe even being in the fraud themselves.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about Ilhan Omar and Tim Walz.
Exactly.
And obviously, Ilhan Omar, the president and the White House have been out saying that she married her brother, that there is immigration fraud going on here. These are deportable denaturalization offenses. Can you give us an update on that?
Yeah. So we actually think that Ilhan Omar definitely committed immigration fraud against the United States of America.
Here's the Ilhan part.
Okay. And I talked to Stephen Miller about this actually recently. We're trying to look at what the remedies are. That's the thing that we're trying to figure out is what are the legal remedies now that we know that she's committed immigration fraud? How do you go after her? How do you investigate her? How do you actually do the thing? How do you build the case necessary to get some justice for the American people? There's a related issue, Benny, which is she has been at the center of a lot of the worst fraudsters in the Somalian community. So do I know that Ilhan Omar was aware that the Quality Leering Center was defrauding the American people? I'm not certain of it, but we at least need to investigate it, because if people can commit wrongdoing without even the fear that they're going to be found out, that's a fundamental problem. So I'm worried about the immigration fraud. I'm also worried about what did Ilhan Omar know about what was happening in the Somali community, and why was nobody looking into it until, frankly, Donald Trump came along?
Yeah, that's right. What about, your friend, Tim Walz? I mean, you guys shared a wonderful moment on the debate stage together.
I do feel very bad for Tim Walz because of what happened in the October 2024 debate. But unfortunately, we're going to have to maybe kick him again a little bit, because, again, I don't know. To be clear, I don't know what Tim Walz knew about the fraud that was happening.
Bro, I have got to see Tim Walz go down on this too, bro. Like, come on. Bro, even if you're what the hell was the point of the word accomplice, man? Like, even if you're like an unknowing accomplice, like, you still get in trouble for shit, right? Like, yo, how many people have or have heard of people that get pulled over for speeding and you go, oh, shit, I didn't see a speed limit sign. I didn't know that was the speed limit. I was going 55. And when the hell did it turn into a 35? And the guy's like, well, it was like, 50 feet right back there and you didn't see it. You still are guilty, right? I was just talking with one of my homies this week. He said he's sick of being treated like a, black man in the racist systemic court system because he got in trouble for things that he just didn't even know were illegal. And he was all salty about like you get in trouble for things you don't know are illegal because nobody told him. Because he didn't have somebody that raised him where he told him these things or something. And I was like, that does suck, but that is how them rules work, man. So I don't give a shit what the hell Tim Walz knew or didn't know. I feel like there is some sort of accomplishment, involved in it to where he needs some sort of a slappy on the wrist, a big old fine, maybe a little jail time, maybe some 14 days and then you're on 5 years probation, a little white collar crime kind of punishment. Call me crazy. I don't know. What do y'all think in the live chat down below? We don't know what Trolley thinks anymore because he got a little bit out of hand and, forgot how to respect the live chat room. Do not forget, people, it is not a free speech platform of saying absolute any handicapped moronic stuff you would like. If you say ridiculous crap, you can still get shut down. And then specifically my live chat, I can choose what that bar is. So, hey, behave like a normal person. You can say crazy stuff, but don't talk like an a-hole. Yeah, we got pretty far. It was an hour 30, hour 35 he made it. Pretty crazy. Yeah, bro, the Tim Walz hearing, that was definitely sus, bro. He definitely looked like a fool, right? And I mean, ignorance is not an excuse for doing guilty things too, man, right? I think it's crazy that you can get out of things like ending someone because you then call you claim insanity or something like that. I still think you should probably be severely mega punished, even if you did it and you're crazy. I don't know, man. But with all this bullshit going on and everybody kind of screwing us all, I'm kind of people need to start getting in trouble. Is there any good other clips out of this one? Well, the aliens one was interesting. Anyone see the aliens one? But it's basically just a circle talk around.
They're not getting paid because Democrats shut down DHS and went on recess.
Yeah, you get the point. That was a good interview. If you're into this stuff, pull up the Benny Johnson and go and follow him on the YouTubes, folks. 6.1 million subscribers. Dude's doing good for himself. He has now been on Fox because he breaks the stories. The independent journalists are growing very big in the internet space. The old millennials are time to take over. The damn Gen X did not want to do shit, so I guess we had to wait until the old millennials got old enough to take over things like, government and news and stuff like that. You know what I mean? What is it? Is this more like Trump talking with the Nick Shirley kind of thing? Okay, no, it's just another task force talk.
Look, we have to do it. As the president said, this is a problem that has festered in this country. So I like fraud czar. It's certainly what we're going to do. And look, we have to do it. As the president said, this is a problem that has festered in this country for far too long, and far too few people have actually wanted to do anything about it. That's what makes this administration different, is that we actually tackle the problems the American people have been confronting. So I'm very happy about it. And look, So I like fraud czar. It's certainly what we're going to do. And look, we have to do it. As the president said, this is a problem that has festered in this country for far too long, and far too few people have actually wanted to do anything about it. That's what makes this administration different, is that we actually tackle the problems the American people have been confronting. So I'm very happy about it. And look, So I like fraud czar. It's certainly what we're going to do. And look, we have to do it. As the president said, this is a problem.
Looped on me. Yeah, Wilkinson, I think claiming insanity only works when you have mental institutions and you have no choice to leave. Right, like crazy people jail, right? So like, need to go to jail. Like, what do you do, bro? So like, yeah, what do we do with like, people that like, ended people live and then, they claim insanity. So like, what happens? They don't go to jail? Like, do we like give them less jail time? How does that happen right now? Yeah. Because it used to be like, you're going to the loony bin, They would also make like, bro, if you're a loony bin person, if you're an insane person that would say, I can claim insanity, wouldn't like being threatened with the punishment of the full insane asylum, wouldn't that like at minimum, if they had like a shred of like functional comprehension, wouldn't that detour the behaviors? Again, dude, change the incentives, change the outcome. Don't charge people for under $1.5 billion of fraud. Don't arrest people for under $1,000 of retail theft. Don't put people in mental institution jails. Now people are like, cool, I know how to get away with it. That's what it seems like to me, at least. Next up, we haven't seen this guy in a while here. I'd say he's a good friend of the show, right? This one, I do believe, is Mr. JP Spears, The Awaken with JP, and it's not a shtick of his, it's just a post. Immediately, first thing that I thought of when I heard about last week's fire truck run into plane incident, it's a little silly story. Some like, stream all day, everydayers covered the topic. So I watched it. And the first thing I thought was, boy, that's what the front of that airplane looks like when a fire truck runs into it. That's crazy. What's a fire truck made out of? Is there some steel in like the frame of a fire truck? And then everything else is like aluminum? Where's Dinosaur when you need him? Where's the car guy? What is a fire truck made out of? Is it as strong or stronger than the outside of the 9/11 tower? Because if we remember what, Daddy Trump says, the 9/11, the Twin Towers, they were built from the outside in. They were built with the steel of the greatest steel. It was American steel, but they built them unlike any other building. They built them from the outside in just to detour possibly if a airplane were to run into it so it wouldn't crumble down. If you remember, the windows were really narrow because they built them from the outside in with steel, with the finest, greatest, craziest of strongest of steels. So if those buildings were built with that steel and then a plane flew into it and the whole thing crumbled down like freaking paper mache, one plane per tower, why does a plane look like this when a fire truck run into it? I don't know. Maybe the whole, you can explain it away. Well, the fire truck didn't hit the fuel thing, so the fuel tank didn't explode. Like the plane went all the way in the building. It went all the way in the building, and somehow the fuel was ignited, even though it's like fumes, but maybe there was some fumes in the tank, even though, I don't know, I'm not an engineer. If I made an airplane, I would probably try to engineer the fuel tank so that it was like pressurized, so like there could never be like fumes of the jet fuel, so that would like minimize the chances of it ever maybe possibly being ignited and exploding, because that would suck. So I don't know. I would probably build that technology into an effing airplane, but that shit didn't work for the 9/11 buildings, right? For the Twin Towers, One airplane, one building, took it down like paper mache. But fire truck run into plane. God bless, man. That plane just kind of crumpled like paper mache. So, like, which one is it, folks? Which one is it? Is the plane paper mache, or is the buildings that were taken down in 9/11 paper mache? Like, God dang. So that was the first thing I thought. But, hey, all these ideas, they're not, super special, unique. Other people have these ideas as well. So this was just somebody posted that, and Mr. JP Sears reshared it, reposted. So definitely make an X account. If you don't got one, you're missing out, folks. Get on the independent news journalism feed of the world. #1 news app at several moments in time in several different countries. Always hanging out top, top of the tier. But Mr. JP Sears, go and follow him on X, because he usually is making funny satirical content of the news, which, is a weird, macabre thing of human reality where sometimes we just need to laugh at the ridiculous shit that sucks in life, right? Sometimes it's just kind of how you get by, right? Sometimes. But he's got funny ones. This one, man, everybody likes talking about aliens, right? I was into aliens for many, many years, so I'm kind of burnt out on it, folks. But Mr. Benny Johnson had what is this? Is this Scott Burchett? Or Mr. Burchett something? He had him on the show talking about aliens.
That gum.
In an alarming but also exciting move, President Trump ordered the full and total declassification of all UFO files from the Pentagon and intel agencies. Cool. Could we actually get the truth about what the federal government knows about extraterrestrials or alien technology? Will they ever?
One could only hope we would eventually get some of this information. Where's the interview with the Burchett? Oh, it's raining outside. Hot dang. Look out if you're driving. Pull up Mr. Ryan Hall, y'all, on the YouTube. If he's not live, we're all probably good.
Tim Burchett, I asked him today about it. What the congressman has to say. It's going to alarm you. Here you go.
DOP suggests there might be a conspiracy play. Well, they ought to start thinking there is, because the FBI shows up when the guy's missing. He had some... Everybody's thinking it's UFO, but he had some nuclear secrets. There's just too many of them disappeared, Benny. Nothing happens by coincidence in this town or around this town. Something's going on. It was the week after the president announced he was going to start releasing some of those files too. So America needs to start paying attention.
Some of the UFO files?
Yep. And that may be coincidental, but we had several folks have left this earth or disappeared that had some close proximity to a lot of that. And that's...
I believe we did cover this last week or two, but just a friendly reminder, kind of still lingering in the old space news feed. Yeah, it was like 6 people, I believe. 6 people connected to knowing about the aliens just up and left the earth. They are no longer with us, if you know what I mean. And we keep getting closer to an alleged, real official, disclosure of what the deal is with the aliens. And just like the Epstein case, whatever the hell it is, people will not take it as this is good for me. Oh, I guess we got the answer. So we'll probably bitch and moan about how it's totally a lie and all baloney. But, they're eventually going to come out and tell us the alleged official story about aliens. But 6 of those people that would maybe know something about the real story are now not with us.
Been going on for a while. That's nothing new.
Do you have any direct knowledge? I mean, you've gone into these classified briefings. Do you have any direct knowledge of this? Did you know any of these guys?
Possibly.
So you're telling me that right after President Trump said to declassify all the UFO stuff, that the UFO experts that you have personal knowledge of and that you have personal connection to, they've gone missing or wound up dead?
Well, one did, the one everybody's looking for, and it's pretty... Yeah, I don't know the circumstances. He left with a 38 in his holster.
Maybe not all 6 left the earth.
And
Maybe some are just missing. Some are just missing.
You're never going to convince me otherwise. I don't care what they find. I don't care what they find at this point. My wife said it the other day, how does somebody disappear in this day and age? How do they disappear?
So it looks like this is...
I just think there's a lot going on.
The answer to that, folks, is somebody tried really, really hard. I don't know if it was that person that they wanted to disappear because they were like, shit, if this goes public, I'm going to be on a bunch of heat. Or somebody that doesn't want them to tell us what they know tried really hard to make them disappear. That's how somebody disappears in this day and age, right? Am I crazy?
We got to get to the bottom of it. There's a lot of...
How about live chat? Live chat, do you want the alien information from the government disclosed? Question 1. Do you want that? Who doesn't want that? Number 2. Who is going to believe it? Are you going to believe what the government comes out and tells us about aliens? So again, who won't? Nobody will believe it. But then, fine. Give me a live chat or give me a comment down below if you're watching in the playback. Which version of the United States government coming out and telling the truth, the disclosure of what we know about the aliens, tell me which version would you believe? Because we all want to believe some version of aliens, right?
And I talked to the president about that. He asked me what I thought, and I said, Mr. President, I think it's like an onion. You just keep peeling it back. There's that lady right there. She had metallurgical knowledge, some of our missiles and stuff, and it's just too much, Benny. Too much is going on right now.
Well, shoot, man. Like, side the alien talk. This is a national security emergency. Like, these people knew about our freaking, like, weapons and shit. And possibly, if the aliens were real, or whichever form of these aliens are real, and if we actually did get alien technologies and we're using them in the weapons, and now these people are missing, that's alarming. That's potentially dangerous. What if Hezbollah got them?
Advanced aerospace propulsion and plasma physics, fusion and rocket tech is the individual who's recently gone missing. Well, that sure as hell sounds like working on the UFO project. Right?
Yeah, well, in every department, and I see NASA right there, and NASA says they don't have anything. We don't have any files. We don't have any. Well, what the heck did I get briefed on by those knuckleheads? I'm over it. I'm over it. We're not going to get this. And when I'm told in a setting that the president is on some of this stuff is on a need-to-know basis, I mean, what the heck does that mean?
We need to know.
Start keeping it.
That's the issue right there.
They're withholding from the commander-in-chief information?
I think so. 100% do.
Which, if you're not familiar with this stuff, folks, the commander-in-chief, the United States Donald Trump president, all the other presidents, they are not the tippy top of the knowledge. There's all kinds of organizations publicly. Maybe not all kinds. There are some organizations that we even know of, we don't know of within the government, construct, that do not have to tell, or they do not want to tell all of the information of the president. It's need-to-know basis. So the president doesn't get in there and literally get to know everything.
And I don't know how you get it back. I mean, do you fire a whole department? I mean, everybody says, yeah, you ought to do that. Well, you can't do that. There's national security implications. There's all this other stuff. So you got to put the people in charge. I think that's what Trump's done. And that's another reason they want him out. All these old timers up here in both parties don't like it because he's rocked their boats, upset their little retirement plans.
I know you got to go, Congressman. You're telling me that Independence Day is like the scene in Independence Day where the president walks down in Area 51 and they're like, oh, this was just a need-to-know basis. Well, why the hell didn't you tell me? This is a need-to-know basis. You're telling me that's real?
I don't think it's quite like that. You'd have too many people that would know. You can't keep anything secret these days. But you could have well, you could in the old days. I mean, you could. I mean, I had a guy discuss with me something that happened to him in the 50s, and he was told not to talk about it, and he just wanted to get it off his chest, I guess, before he passed. But I don't think it's quite like that. I don't think they're at Area 51 or whatever. I think that's just too obvious.
No, I'm just saying, like, the scene itself.
I know what you're saying.
They tell the president, well, we didn't tell you because it's a need-to-know basis, and you don't need to know. Yeah.
I think that's right. I think that is clearly right, because you're never going to get to the base of these people unless the Lord takes them out.
Incredible.
Yeah, very, very true. But interesting, right? Multiple scientists found dead. Okay, so multiple of the 6, and then the other ones are missing. Very interesting. I don't know, man. That Bob Lazar story was very compelling to me. If you haven't watched the Bob Lazar documentary on Netflix, I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but that was very compelling. The Bob Lazar shit is very interesting. Maybe, you know, it's controlled opposition and throwing us down one path to go away from another one, but he was working on like the propulsion technology, and he described it very detailed. And if it's not true, like all these stories, bro, like the Anunnaki shit, like the Law of One shit, all this stuff that I've, you know, traversed over the years of you know, interesting on the internet, in my opinion, you know, if at minimum it ain't true, they're really cool and fun, interesting stories, right? So tell me in those comments down below, hey, what do you think is the disclosure story from the United States government about the story of aliens that you would believe? Which version would you go, dang, they really did tell the truth? You tell me. Maybe next week, comment down below and you ask. Maybe I'll tell you mine. I will tell you which version I think I would go, oh, dang, they did tell us the truth. Because there's a lot of versions I'd be like, man, that's what they went with. I don't believe it. Just like, you know, hey, we got all the Epstein files, and they're like, yeah, but darn, dude, shucks, we got all these files and nobody's actually like caught red-handed. Nobody is actually implicated in any trafficking or like crimes. Shucks, diggity darn it, right? I mean, shit, I'd believe it if they just came out and said, you know, but all right, look, we went through all the Epstein stuff, and it turns out all of the crimes they did, we literally cannot prosecute them because that was the whole point of them going to that island. It's in international waters, and we just like, we can't legally do it. We caught them. Here's the evidence, and we're just going to tell everybody. The best we can do is y'all can try them in the court of public opinion. But we are physically, legally incapable of doing anything with these people. I would even accept that. I'd be raw. I'd be like, son of a, that's some BS. That really sucks. No justice for these people that committed atrocities, right? But it would be at least factual, and in a civilization, the unfortunate truth, you know? I don't know. So it does seem that last week when we covered Mr. Markwayne Mullin, you know, progressing through the checks and balances of government, he was finally fully checked in and officially accepted as the new, is it DHS? DHS head, right? The new DHS director, right? Taking over for the Kristi Noem, who was not fired, but she was potentially what you might call downsized. No, that's like fired. Repositioned, you know, demoted, right? She was put into another position because, you know, she wasn't really going with the team. She was like not really taking the hits instead of blaming Trump. And maybe she made some bad decisions too. But now we got Markwayne Mullin, and here is his acceptance speech, or at least minute 30 of it.
Care of Homeland.
Come on.
Thank you. I think that was the most nervous I've ever been. I don't, it just seems surreal.
I mean, people say that, but if it was true, dude was like an MMA guy, wasn't nervous. He was just one of them crazy people that's like, I'm ready to go get punched in the face. I ain't nervous. Was he in the military too? New topic was Markwayne Mullin a veteran, or is he? He is still with us. Was he in the military? Was what I was going to say. Is Markwayne Mullin of that? Beep, pop, boop. The Grok is thinking. Where? Self-made businessman and politician with a colorful background, including professional fighting, but he is not a military veteran. Okay, so not ever in military situations that would have maybe made him nervous, but he was an MMA guy, and this was the most nervous he was.
Being in the Oval Office and having the President of the United States speak so highly of me and then recognize my family and know my family by name, it's humbling. And I never take it for granted, but I have made this very clear that I don't care what color your state is. I don't care if you're red or you're blue. At the end of the day, my job is to be Secretary of Homeland and to protect everybody the same. And we will do that. I'll fight every single day. Today, I got the privilege of meeting so many of the employees at DHS. These employees have been there for 30 days without pay. And if you need anything to know their dedication to show up and still protect the homeland that you and I enjoy and the freedoms that we're experiencing, they're working with for free because of political politics. That's all I need to know. I told them, as you're fighting 365 days, understand I'll be fighting 365 days beside you. No one's going to outwork me, and I'm not going to
Did the quiet part out loud, folks. He's going to take 5 days off. What a son of a bee.
let any of them outwork me. The president has entrusted me with this, and failure is not an option. And so thank you so much, Mr. President, for this opportunity. I won't let you down.
Thank you very much.
Hell yeah, brother. Let's go.
I love that expression. No one's going to outwork me. That's a wrestler's expression, isn't it? Huh?
Yeah, buddy. Ain't nobody going to outwork me. I love that sentiment for head of the flippin' DHS. Amen. I was not a big fan of Kristi Noem. Like, I wasn't like, oh, I don't think she's going to do good. I just wasn't like, oh, wow, she's going to crush it. I didn't know anything about her being holy cow amazing. And this dude is pretty go-get-em amazing. Like, he's got a track record as a senator for being real go-getter amazing. So I'm a little bit more jazzed up about this guy. What do you think, live chat? Is that a yay or a nay on Markwayne Mullin, who's going to, I love that expression, outwork them all? No one's going to outwork him. Nobody. I love that. I would say it's a yay for me with the Markwayne Mullin, and it's hopefully going to be a good thing. Let's see if he lasts to the end of the term, because they don't have like a time frame there. It was just time for Kristi Noem to be repositioned. So I can't wait to see what great stuff we get with Mr. Markwayne. Hopefully we get some arrests, right? Well, he's Homeland Security, right? DHS. So are we already seeing some arrests there, which is another positive functional benefit that nobody's giving credit for. Oh my God, Trump's like a Zionist. He's supporting Israel. Shit. Okay, well, I don't want to give him a bunch of money either. Oh wait, what? Trump stopped giving him as much money? Okay, bet. Wait, Trump. So instead of like giving Israel money on top of money on top of money to defend themselves from the terrorists, he was like, you know what, folks? Instead of giving more money to Israel to defend themselves from the terrible Hezbollah, what if maybe crazy, I know. Maybe what if we just took out Hezbollah? You know, like, hey, get over here. Yo, numbers guy. Hey, bean counter, get over here for me. Okay. Tell me what we've given Israel in the last 8 years. Okay, bet. Okay, my first term, Joe Biden. Okay, 8 years. Just 8 years. All right, bet. Okay, put that number down. All right. Now, how much is it going to take out the radical extremist Islamic government that works and runs Hezbollah? Give me that number. Well, look at the difference there. Shit, that's not bad. I mean, shit, bro. Yeah, I didn't push Grok, but we've all heard the 19 billion for the Somali fraud in just Minnesota, right? So I heard that so far we've blown only about 11 billion on taking out Hezbollah, which, hey, man, I get it, man. And I don't think Trolley's hanging here if he can't troll, but if he's listening or anybody else, I used to be very anti-military industrial complex and still am for the most part. So I hate hearing that we blew 11 billion of our dollars on dropping bombs to hurt people. But when you tell me it was bad, mean people that poke women's eyes out for not wearing hijabs, and then R-word people and smish murder a bunch thousands of people a year, and then push a religion through a government, so it's a total married government religion system on people that 91% say they don't support it. Okay, maybe that is what my $11 billion of tax money is worth. Maybe that is good. So, you grow up, you learn a little bit more about geopolitics, you learn a little bit about, the oppressions of other countries that don't have it as good as us. And then all of a sudden, maybe you support a military industrial complex once in a while. Just like Trolley was trying to troll and say do you support boots on the ground? Well, bruh, if we're going over there to get rid of the Terrys and shit ain't working out, it's not going all the way, and we need to put some troops on the ground, that is literally what they're for. We live in some weird fairy tale, liberal frickin' cherries and rainbows bullshit reality where we think, oh, I guess it's so nice now that we just don't need to have a military, folks. I guess this is where we definitely get a ranter in chief rant out of Dan, right? Nah, man, for how many centuries was it you need a military to go beat the ish out of people? Go beat the brakes off of them to stop being bad guys. Or you're screw it, I want to be the dominant person and country here. We're just going to take a shit. Very often it's not cool. And then there's a lot of, bad stuff happen to civilians. But that is how the world works. And at least now we have gotten to a point where we ran out of most all the land, and that doesn't switcheroo a lot. Russia wanted a piece of land that, you could say was not fair, or you could say was fair. Ain't people going around just conquering countries no more and just beating the brakes off people and hurting all the civilians for that, other than the Terrys. That's who's still doing it. People that have not come to the modern civilization realizations of, I guess you just have to kind of stay where you're at and be happy with it. Very interesting, right? Because Palestine wants to what? Try and beat the brakes off Israel and take their land back. They feel robbed. Sure. We can empathize with that concept, right? But I don't think you're strong enough to go do it. So that's why, strong military government, if we ever needed to go take some land, we'd be able to do it. Which, which side of the road are you on, I suppose, right? Quick little mention here. Government agencies banned from pressuring big tech to censor Americans for 10 years. A consent decree in Missouri versus Biden now bars the CDC, CISA, and the U.S. Surgeon General from coercing social media platforms to suppress protected speech for the next decade. Why is it only a decade? We got to turn this into legislation, folks, right? So this is what I would imagine came up from the Biden administration, and literally the once was a tinfoil hat theory. Alex Jones would have said it. We said it, and we're crazy tinfoil hatters, right? But we literally since then have 100% admitted from Facebook that they were coerced by the Joe Biden administration to silence and shut down shit on social media, bruh. So this is a legal case that says they can't do that no more, man. So sure, they can loophole it and find another organization to do it, but the CDC and CISA and the U.S. Surgeon General can no longer do that, which is mostly medical things. So probably, maybe, sort of a good idea, right? That is a good one to me. A lot of winning, man. A lot of winning. I watch a lot of shows that have gone doomer and gloomer, and I don't really watch them much anymore, folks, because I'm not a doomer gloomer kind of guy. Oh, me crazy. Not a doomer nor a gloomer. So if you're looking for a little bit dash of opium in your week, make sure to come back next week, folks. I only got one more for you. So it's a great time to make sure to remember. You can just swipe up on the phone and this should keep playing in the background. Or just hit share. It'll keep playing in the background, I think. Hit share and copy the link. Go back, flick up so it keeps playing in the background. And with that link on the copy, you go over to a friend, you go over to a foe, maybe a mom, maybe a dad, brother, sister, cousin. Share them the show, man. Share them over the show because, I was at first, it was just, trying to bring some alternate news, some independent citizen journalism, some things that were off the beaten path to people's attention. We believe that with awareness comes the realization, right? But at this current point in time, I'm now here to just deliver some opium, dog. Like, God bless. I got the Hodge twins, got a signature from the Hodge twins right now. All their takes are like, hoo-ha to me, man. I'm like, what? So were they just like grifting on the let's go America and Donald Trump thing? Now they just talk crap all the time, bro. It's like their numbers went down, because the election's over and now they're just like thirsty for the views. And so they're just, the willy-nilly, I don't know. They're just flowing because, another thing to remember is, the views, the money, it's where Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly switched to. And so now that's going to propagandize people that were maybe not as strong on, yay, Donald Trump and oh, yay, America's not so bad when, the Donald Trump system and the MAGA system are in place or something, right? Then they get propagandized because the views are there because then it's a dissenting opinion and people like, the drama. So if you make up drama, people are going to watch it. So, that's why Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, and so many others now are switching their tune, man. They're flip-floppers. I mean, you can change your mind. They seem a little flip-floppy to me. I still think it's ridiculous that Candace Owens was talking all woo-woo about the Russian planes and the Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk. And then it turned out that she looked up the information wrong and she never came out and talked about that one again. A lot of holes in that theory. The last one I've got for you folks is, of course, the one and only post from Dinosaur. He needs to get it together and post more with me throughout the week. But it's usual from him to be a bit of comic relief. So we've got comic relief. There we go. The new band, Bon Jovi, living on a prayer mat. Oh, the silly internet. Oh, my goodness. The internet is silly, right, folks? All right, bet. That's all I have got for you. Share the damn show. If you got a computer and you stayed this long, man, you might be cool to have a like-minded tech guy. So click on that signup.toleratetech.com down below in the link description box, and I'll help you out, man. Go check it out. Got more information there. It is me, my company, and love to help you out with your computer. If you got a business or you want to start up a small business and help you out with a website and some digital sales marketing, check out that Scalar Toolbox link in the description box down below. But grab the receipts, share them out, man. Follow the people, build yourself a better damn news feed, man. If I tell you a bunch of stuff you ain't hear about, man, build yourself a better damn news feed. Because I wanna get some citizen journalists on the Truther Triber squad here, man. Hey, we got one follower. All right, somebody did it. One more follower today, round number 120. All right, so now we got to get 2 for next week. I hate the odd numbers. All right, thank you very much, folks, and make sure to not be a hoe. Share that show, and then all I've got for you else, I guess, is there's like one more thing or something. It's like all right.
Oh.